Hello everyone. I'll just give it a minute or so while I pour the old JD. Good old Jack Daniels. That's what you need on a cold night. You know that thumbnail on this live stream? It's a pity I didn't have the bottle of cider wrapped in a brown paper bag, because that would have just hit the ticket. That would have been the perfect hobo photograph. Anyway, how is everybody? Saturday night. I will not keep this going for 3 hours like I did the last one. And also, I am using quite an old computer here because I found my Blue Yeti microphone, which I didn't manage to sell off. No one wanted to buy it. So I've still got it. But my other laptop, which has a better webcam, has only got USB-Cs in it. This has got a USB, so I have to plug it into the older computer. But it's obviously shittier graphics, but there again, you don't want to see me in full HD anyway. But at least the audio would be good. So that's the main thing, as long as the audio is good. Let me just see who's online. Hello, Martin. How you doing? Nice one, Alan. It is actually nice in here. I'm nice and warm because I've got the heating on. I'm not old enough yet to have my heating allowance cut. I guess that's coming if I'm still here. Hopefully not. Anyway, good to hear from you, Martin. Dan. Alan, I've rusty flangy bolts, exhaust, but the nut and thread gone. How do I resolve cheap? Well, I can give you a cheap method because I'm always looking for the quick, cheap method. Exhaust canty flexi and beyond. It all depends if you've got the right tools. If you've got a pair of studs and a pair of nuts on them studs, and the nuts are completely rotted away altogether, that you can't fit a socket on them, they're 3 times smaller than they should be. And the big if, can you get access to them nuts with an angle grinder? Because what I would do, and what I do, if you've got the nut there, and say that's the flat of the nut, if there's still a flat left on it, you get the angle grinder and cut 1 flat off the nut, or maybe 2 flats off the nut, okay? And then you can get a hammer and chisel, or maybe a impact chisel or something like that, probably just normal hammer and chisel, and just chisel the nut, because once you cut a bit of it off, it's going to come loose. And then you'll find you've still got a bit of thread left where that nut was if you take it off carefully enough. And you may be able to fit new nuts on the old thread, even though it's, you know, most of the thread is gone, but there'll be enough thread where the old nut was to put a new nut on it. Failing that, you're going to have to go down the whole route of trying to get the stud out, which could be a problem. And believe me, when it comes to getting studs out, a lot of time they can be very difficult. The video I done where you cut a slot in the flange and then you bang the stud out is a nice quick way of doing it. You know, all these years later after making that video, I still have comments more or less on a daily basis of people trying to tell me how to get that stud out. And they come out of all these fan-dabba-doozy ways of doing it, using big drills. And it's like, it was an old car that I was working on. Nobody cares. It was just a case of change this piece of exhaust quickly, efficiently, and easily. I didn't have the rest of my frigging life to cut this stud off and do it such a neat little job. So, but some people just don't get it. It's nice and quick and easy. That's all I wanted. And but yeah, a lot of it depends on, have you got access to the flange where the studs are? The more room, the better. If you've got no access, you could be in a bit of a trouble. You might have to get a drill up there and try and drill a bit of the nut off or something like that. It's never easy, and a lot of it all depends on what you can get onto that rusted up nut to get it off. Anyway, I'll better move on. Anyway, Dan, good to hear from you. It's Saturday night. Russell, looking forward to an evening. Well, thank you, Russell. What the hell is that? What is that thumbnail of? Before I go any further, I can remember because I've got a bad memory. I just want a quick shout out to a few people. I want to shout out to Mr. Vincent Anthony. I spoke to you today because Vincent Anthony is one of Ken's cousins and he was at the Balut stand in Camp 1 Maramag. So, hi Vincent, hello. Thank you for watching the channel. It's much appreciated. And I've got another shout out to, I hope you're watching, Mr. Darren from Tesco's in Huntingdon. Now, it was me and Tyler all wrapped up in our winter coats, walking in Tesco's, getting some breakfast. And Darren come up to us and he goes, "Hi, my name's Darren. I follow you on YouTube. I watched your videos." And he was a very nice guy. He was very talkative. So it's like, thank you, Darren. You know, it makes our day when people come up to us and say, "Hi, we watch the channel." You know, it makes us feel important, you know, even though we're not. But it is very nice. And thank you for that. Thank you for saying so. There's another quick hello to, I don't know what his name is, a young guy works in Iceland in Huntingdon town. He come up to us and he said, "My dad watches your channel." So hello, Mr. young guy in Iceland, Huntingdon. All right, I've done my shout outs. So now I guess we'll carry on. DJ0302N flipping heck. Can you send me the diagram of how to install the Mondeo Mark V turbo solenoid valve hoses? Thank you. I'm watching you with admiration. If you are referring to the vacuum pipes and everything that connects onto the two solenoids that go down by the side of the fuel filter housing, I don't think there is a wiring diagram for that or a diagram for that. It's certainly not information that I would have. All we have access to is auto data. I don't have access to the Ford ESIS system because I don't work for Ford. But it's certainly not an auto data. But I will say, there's two solenoids that sit down. If it's the 2 litre Mondeo Mark V Turbo, yeah, I guess it's the 2 litre you're talking about. There's 2 solenoids and there's vacuum pipes that come off them and go all the way. One of them goes all the way around to the turbo actuator. Your best bet is to get a set. If they're completely buggered, your best bet is get a set up a second-hand car or something like that. And it's pretty self-explanatory because all the vacuum pipes, you can't really get them wrong. They'll only fit, you know, in certain place. So you'll see where they all plug on anyway. That's the best I can really say. Scott, hello. Bloody hell, Alan, you look cold, a bit different. Oh, that picture. It's been flipping freezing all week. In the Philippines, every single day is hot and bloody hotter. I said to Kenny, is there any kind of let up here? I mean, does it get any cooler? It's, you know, sometimes it's hard to tell because I got there in mid-January and by the time we got to April, it was up to like 37 degrees every day. As we got through like June, July, August time, it was down to like 32. But even at 32 degrees, it's just that it's so muggy. You know what I mean? And you can't, it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to breathe. It's so stuffy. You go outside and the sun hits you. You've got to get some shade because it just burns you. And it kind of gets to you after a while, the heat. I mean, I know it's nice when we always moan here in Britain when you have a heat wave or a really hot day. It goes, "Oh, it's so hot today." Well, bloody hell. But flipping heck, when you go out there and you realise what real heat is, and it's like 3 o'clock in the morning, it's still hot. You've got to have either an aircon or you've got to have a fan on you all night long just to keep you cool. But over here, when I got back here, it was quite nice to start with because it wasn't that cold, and to breathe the cold, like coldish air over here felt pretty good. But now this week it's been really cold, sort of like I had to rush out and buy pairs of jeans and thermals. We went to Peterborough and bought some sets of thermals because it's so bloody cold. I had no clothes left. All I have to my name is a few t-shirts, some pair of shorts, and flip-flops. So I had to buy some work boots, socks. I had no socks either. I've not worn socks in 10 months. But yeah, well, thank you, Scott. Yeah, I'm loving the cold. Hi, Dwayne. How are you doing? I'll catch up with you at some point. I've not seen you in town lately. I've been through there a few times. Looks like you need a hot drink. I've got whiskey, mate. Whiskey and ice. That'll warm me up. How's Tyler? Have you heard from Ken? And when are you popping round? Oh, I'll pop round at some point. Don't worry. Oh, Tyler's fine. He's upstairs. He's got all his creature comforts and all that. So yeah, all good at the minute, apart from being here. But there you go. This is life. Anyway, Dwayne, I will see you. Don't worry. I'm sure we'll catch up. Ian, hello, Ian. Welcome back. Yes, back in old Blighty. Yeah, it's been a bit strange to say the least being back. I've been like 3 weeks now, and it kind of feels like it's all been a dream. Like it's just been, I keep saying this, it's like I've been away for the weekend. I walked back and I've seen Steve at Steve's car sales, my boss. Well, he's still my boss. Is nothing much has changed. It's still the same. So it's like I went back to work, and the first day back, it just felt like I've not been away, and that's what it felt like. Oh, and by the way, I have my first job was a wet belt, of all things. I will come to that. I think I might be able to show you a video, and I've not done this on StreamYard. I've not messed around with this StreamYard app, so I'm going to mess around a bit tonight and see if I can show you this video, but I'll get to that in a minute. Here's the lady herself. Ken, you need marshmallow and a stick. Ken, I think it's more a carrot and a stick. This is my carrot. Just dangle it in front of me. How you doing, Ken? I guess you just woke up. What time is it? It's 12 minutes past 3 a.m. in the Philippines. Hello. Ken gets up at 3 o'clock every single morning without fail. I can't believe I couldn't do that. I just couldn't do that. She gets up every single morning at 3 a.m. She'll go into the kitchen, make herself a hot chocolate. And by the way, if we just stop here for a minute, for the last 10 goddamn months, I have been boiling water using a stove kettle, because electric kettles in the Philippines is not a thing. It really isn't. You go into any shop over there, and the kettles that you will see will be camping kettles. Thousands of the bastards all over the place. And so I decided, when I get back here, rather than keep flicking the switch like a lazy bastard and boiling the water and probably paying God knows what, because you know how they're trying to push the electric over here. I went out and I bought, look at that sexy bastard. That is a stove kettle, gas. Gas heats it up on the hob. And I reckon that to boil the water, despite it takes a little bit longer, it's going to be cheaper in the long run. Anyway, Ken, I better carry on. But I was saying, you get up every morning, you make your hot chocolate, and then you go to your egg incubator. She takes out these trays of eggs, turns them all around, looks at and makes sure they're the good eggs or the bad eggs. Apparently, I've learnt this. A Pinoy egg is an unfertilized egg, because when she puts her torch to the egg, you can see that the egg has got something in it, like it's been fertilized. But if the egg doesn't show anything inside it, it's unfertilized, and they call that a pinoy, and they still get used. They're like a creamier version of an egg. They still sell them, but they're called pinoys. So I don't know much about eggs and all that, so I didn't take that much notice, but I learned a little bit. Anyway, next time we'll talk more about what a female and what a male duck egg looks like, but not tonight. It's getting too serious now. Hello, Steve. It's been a while. Where have you been? I've still got your hammer and your puller set, you know. It's still there. No one nicked it. It's still under the cupboard, so I might get to use that again, you know. Thank you very much. Hope you're all good and doing well, getting ready for Christmas. Oh my God. By the way, talking of Christmas, I was in Huntingdon town today and had this big, like, fluffy polar bear dancing to the music. So I thought I'd record that. In actual fact, Steve, shall we see if this is a good opportunity, whether this StreamYard app will show one of the videos I recorded? I'm going to try it out, okay? I've never done this before. It says video file. So desktop. Oh my God, it's not going to show it. 1 minute. 4646. We'll go for this one. Let's try it. Oh yes. Christmas is coming. I have to say, philosophically speaking, I find that rather disturbing. What do you say, Tyler?
I think it's pretty cool.
I think it's pretty cool. I think they're not supposed to scare the shit out of the kids, but there you go. It just waved at me. Oh my God, get the hell out of here. Now, the only question is, how do you get rid of that? Oh, hang on a minute. I've got to work this. That's it. Yeah. Polar bears are not soft, cuddly animals that want to shake your hand. So I just thought I'd point that out. But I thought that was funny. I thought I'd better just record it. Anyway, I'll carry on. I'll show you these wet belts in a minute. Hello, Mark. Alan, why my Mark 5 Mondeo front heated windscreen not working? Well, that's the $64,000 question, isn't it? The best you can do is to take your scuttle off and probably check to see if you've got a live, because the screen, it works in two halves. There's a live either side of the screen. You've got to take the scuttle. You might not have to take the scuttle off. No, you do have to take the top windscreen wiper scuttle off, because under there you'll have your wires, your live wires. And with a test light or a voltmeter, you can actually check to see if you've got a live going to it. If you have, then chances are it's the actual wires that actually go onto the screen that are broke, stopping it from working. You'll find that a lot of windscreens that are heated, they stop working, or you may get a number of lines that stop working, or one half stops working, something like that. But you have to check first to see if you've got a live going to the actual screen. So take your windscreen scuttle off, and then you will see the wires on either side, and then you can test them. Bartos, hello, good evening. How are you? Thank you, Bartos. It's good to hear from you too. The Don, hello. Welcome back to Old Blighty. Yes, thank you very much. Steve, can you do a video on the forward clutch pedal spring that breaks, causing the pedal to sit high? I had this the other day. Someone left a comment, and there's a big green spring with it's like two springs, one big thick one and one inside it, and they can break, and you can buy them as a kit. I know from the Ford dealer you can buy them and you can fit them to the pedal, but normally if the pedal sits really high, it's because when you get your head underneath the pedal box and you look up, where the clutch master cylinder, the little rod comes out of the master cylinder and connects to the pedal, the plastic rod snaps. It sometimes still works, but it's broken, and it makes the pedal come right forward and sit like miles high. So I will check that as well. Yeah, if I come across something like that, I'll see what I can do anyway. But to be fair with you, we don't actually see any taxis anymore. They're not being, because the taxis were sold off, and they're not really being fixed much at the garage. I think they're not repairing them as they should be. They're just running them into the ground. That's what it sounds like. So, Wayne, hello. Welcome back to the motherland. Thanks, Wayne. Rice, hello. How you doing? Good to see you back. Will we be getting videos at the car garage soon? I don't think I'm going to go back to car videos. I really don't think I'm going to do that. I think that ship has sailed. So I will probably just find other things to do. I'll go out somewhere, get chased by some crackheads maybe. But, I changed my whole channel to like a lifestyle channel. So I'll probably carry on with that. So we'll see anyway. We'll see what comes up. I'll try and keep the YouTube channel alive somehow, just doing maybe a live stream a week or something like that. But if I do find anything interesting, just little bits and pieces, I might record it. Eric. Hello, Eric. Good evening to you. And Andy. Hello, Andy. Good evening to you as well, mate. Stiff Rock, USB to USB-C converter. Well, thanks for that. I don't have a converter. I know. Tell me about it. Do you know the amount of cables and wires I have to keep buying? And I still haven't got the right stuff. Every time I've got to go out and buy something new to convert everything. But yes, I will, because this. I'm actually glad I didn't sell this. I tried to sell it on eBay, but nobody wanted it. It was only like 20 quid. I mean, it cost me 90 quid. So, but it's still here. Mr. Dave, hi, how are you doing? Welcome back. Business as usual. Yes, you just carry on. Steve, you're busy tonight. Mark O'Neill. Reset the BMS system, ignition on, flash main beam 5 times, hit the foot brake 3 times, battery symbol. Steve, you should have your own channel. You should have your own channel for all this information you're giving out. And you can put your Patreon link in there so they can pay you. And another, glad to see you back home. I know this is my home, but it's not really where I want to be. Not anymore. But, I know what you mean. I'm getting to that age where this country doesn't really do much for me anymore. It's not where my interest lies. But still, oh my God, I'm flipping making a mess of my drink. Right. Artisan Cars, how you doing? What a bloody bad week. Thursday, somebody had crashed into my car and I think it is written off by the insurance. Well, let's face it, it doesn't take much these days to get your car wrote off. Do you know, years ago, many years ago, when I worked for Marshalls, I fitted a body shell to I can't remember. I think it was a Rover Sterling. I knew it was a Rover 800, but I'm not sure whether it was the Sterling model or not. The Sterling being the gear, the top model that had everything electric. I fitted a body shell. So that just goes to show what they used to replace all them years ago. And I'm going back to, oh my God, probably the early 90s. So I don't think you get a body shell fitted these days. I'm not sure. Somebody let me know if you do. Kenny, got to keep your nuts well lubed. My toolbox I'll tell you what, my flipping air gun needs lubricating. I've got some that blooming oil, that special thin oil that you put in your air gun. That hadn't seen no flipping oil in a year. Mark, cheers, Steve. That's Steve. Steve is like a wealth of information. If you need anything, he'll go and look it up, or he'll know anyway. One of the two. Siad, bloody hell, mate! I hadn't heard from you in a while. I'm so happy to see that washing machine again. It still works. That there, the very first wash, it took a dump, brand spanking new, and I had the guy round here. And it was the control panel where all the digital display is that had packed up on the first wash. They replaced that. That was years ago. I don't even know how old that machine is now, but it's been flawless ever since. Anyway, nice one, Siad. Good to hear from you. And when do you start work? I already have. I've done 2 weeks of work. I stayed here for like 5 days. And then I went back to work. I saw my old boss. He gave me a broom and a mop and told me to get on with it, you know. Yeah. No, I've done 2 weeks of work, and that's been okay. It's been okay. But, you know, it's not what I really want to do, but I'm going to have to slog this one out, ain't I? So, anyway, I was talking of work. One of the first jobs I got was a wet belt change on a Citroen C3 of all cars. So I'm going to show you the video. It's not much, but it's just a very quick one. This car had done 70,000 miles, and I believe it is the actual cut-off point. It's the point where the belt should be changed. So these wet belts don't have much of a service life, that's for sure. So let's see what we got. So this is my very first wet timing belt. That is, come on, focus camera. That is cracked to hell. That's in really bad condition. Oh my God. But there's the tensioner, idler and front crank oil seal. The top cover. Half of this is back together. That's the inlet manifold that has to come off to get the top cover off. And under here, there's our new wet belt already fitted. Everything lines up, pucker. So now it's just a case of put the rest of the components back together, put the oil in it, and we're away. You see the split bar that's locking both them camshafts. We have the full kit. So for quite often on these type of wet belt engines, you'll have to use that bar there. It bolts to the cylinder head as well. And that locks both the cams. The next car I done does not use that bar, even though it's exactly the same wet belt setup. The engine is a different variation, and you cannot use that bar because the top cover of the next car, which is a Peugeot 3008, the actual top cover actually holds the camshafts bolted down as well. So you have to remove the brake vacuum pump off the back of the exhaust camshaft, and there's a little black cover, rocker cover on the inlet camshaft, which you fit plates into that lock the cams. So you'll see that in a minute. Well, you won't see the locking plates because the next one's underneath the car. But that is that one. Yeah, I'll show you this other one now and get it out the bloody way. Where are we? Video file. which is this one. Peugeot 3008, oil light coming on. We've just fitted a new... Yeah, just to put it into some context here, this Peugeot 3008, it's done 42,000 miles. If you put your foot down on the throttle and accelerate hard, it would go into limp mode and the engine oil light would come on with a warning. So it sounded pretty serious. On initial inspection, when you remove the oil filler cap, you can see the wet belt and we could see that it was in a bad state. So we can kind of figure that the wet belt, the fibers had come off the wet belt and blocked up the oil strainer, which you can see there. So it was a case of fit a new wet belt and clear the oil strainer. But we wasn't totally sure until we got the actual sump off. But I believe this particular car, the oil was black. It was almost as if it's done 42,000 miles without an oil change. That's what it felt like. And you know what, some people, they'll get a car like this and they won't get it serviced. And I think on these particular cars with these wet belts, they have a specific oil in them, like a 020. And you really have to have the oil change at the precise intervals. And if you don't, you're going to be in such bloody trouble, because these wet belts, to be honest with you, they're pieces of shit and they don't last. And this is the end result. This could have blown the engine up quite easily, as you'll see in a minute. Wet belt, but the oil light coming on, we know, is a completely different story. It was all the fibers off the belt which have broke and got into the oil way, into the sump. And that's them hanging down. That wasn't like that. I literally just touched my finger on the strainer there and this just come down. See that, Martin?
Oh yeah.
That's all the shit.
Oh,
the fibers off the belt. That there, let me put the torch down a minute. That's hanging down. That was all in there. I just touched it with my finger and it come down like that.
Oh my God.
So that's obviously the blockage.
Oh yeah.
So I'm going to clean this strainer. Obviously this strainer doesn't come separate to the fucking pump by the looks of it. No, the other one did.
Is there a cap you can?
No.
A cap you can pop off there.
No, it looks all clean in there anyway.
Oh,
I'll just blow it all out.
That must have been going in the middle there.
Yeah, that was like
must have been pushing into the middle, so there must have been a tiny little gap.
It was like a ball, like a golf ball in the middle of shit.
There we go.
So that's brilliant news. Now we know why the oil light was coming on. Yuck. Right, I'll get all that cleaned out then. Nasty.
I thought you were filming there.
I am. I'm filming this in case the customer wants to see it. But what's this done? 40,000 miles? 42,000 miles. And the belt is like... Let's put my torch down. Come on, focus. Look at the state of that. That's the back of the belt. It's cracked to hell.
And this as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that little gauze in there.
And of course, all tiny bits of rubber come off the belt and get blocked up in the oil strainer. Right. Okay. Yeah. I haven't done much in the way of wet belts, but for 42,000 miles, that's absolutely terrible. And that job, to the customer, I don't exactly know what the price of it was, but it wasn't cheap. So that's terrible, having a bill like that. So I would suggest anyone who's got one of these Citroen or Peugeots that have a wet belt in them, and if you don't know, I'd find out. I would keep a very close eye on the service interval and getting your oil changes done, because they're a terrible idea. I think it's just cheapness, you know. It's too much money to fit a chain, a decent chain. So they put these little rubber belts in that don't last. Anyway, Steve, is the puller and hammer still in your toolbox? No. I've already said no. They're under the bench. They're still there. John, are you home? I am home. This is home. Yes, this is it. Hillbilly John, good evening from Ireland. Well, hello and good evening to you, Hillbilly John. I hope you're having a malt whiskey. Peter, how you doing? Good to see you back. I have a Mark IV Mondeo 2-litre diesel. It just has developed a bad diesel knock. Any advice on what to check? That could be a lot of things. You've got anything from shitty fuel, blocked up filter, a injector playing up, something like that. A low compression, that's getting a bit extreme. No, there's a whole host of different things it could be. You really best get it looked at then. Normally, if you get a knock, you're probably getting a bit of smoking out the exhaust as well. Might be worth running a code scan through it as well, just in case. It might pick something up. John, hello. When you go back to the Philippines, you will probably have to get used to the heat all over again. I'm not particularly bothered about the heat. What interests me the most is the mosquitoes, because initially when they were biting me, when I first went there, it was very painful. The bites would last, the stinginess on the bites would last for 2 to 3 days. And it was just horrific. You know that alcohol that you use to clean your hands, everyone was using it during COVID. I had to use that alcohol to just wipe all down your arms and legs where you've been bitten. And that was kind of soothing. But after I've been bitten, like constantly every day for about 2 months, it got to the point where the bites would last for 30 minutes and the stinginess would last for like 5 minutes, and then the bites were gone. You wouldn't even know they were there. I was healing up so much quicker, within the space of 30 minutes. So I'm hoping that will still be the case, because if it's not, and my body resorts back to a couple of days, I'm not going to handle that. I think I'll just go out with a pair of jeans on or put more off lotion on. So, but no, the heat, I can deal with the heat. Even in these hot countries, I mean, you can take an umbrella with you. That's probably the best thing to do. Just walk around with an umbrella. And when you're out there, you've got flip-flops on, pair of shorts and a T-shirt. And even if you took your T-shirt off and just walked around in your shorts, it's fine. Nobody cares. So, yeah, no, that'd be okay. It's just the insects that bother me the most. Stuart, hello. I have a 67 plate ST line, 2-litre TDCI Ford Cougar, and I'm getting a smell of fumes now and again in the cab. Is there anything I should be looking at? Am I looking? It may be injector seals. I would definitely lift the bonnet, and if your injectors have a cover over them, like you can't see them, then you want to undo the cover and lift it up. And if it is an injector leaking from the copper washer, then you want to get that done quickly, because the fumes that come out from them leaking injectors is absolutely, it'll kill you. It gets right down your throat and makes you cough like hell. But also look under the bonnet for anything else. You might have a diesel leak, something like, and diesel really stinks when it leaks, like from a leak off pipe or something like that. You could have an exhaust leak under the bonnet from a gasket or somewhere. So you'd have to check everything first. Then also do other simple checks, like open your tailgate, boot and that. Make sure the seals aren't split. Basic stuff like that. Just have a good look around. Finn, hello. Alan, could I live in comfort with £3,000 per month? I have disability pension. Could I live in comfort? Bloody hell, mate. I think most of us could live £3,000 a month in comfort. Where are you thinking of living in comfort? I can tell you something. If you were living in the Philippines with £3,000 a month, you could pick, even if you went and rented a condo or a house, you can get pretty nice place for less than £1,000 a month easily, and that's on the higher end of things. And flipping heck, £2,000, even if you said £1,000 a month, which would be a lot more than what you'd pay for rent anyway, to live on £2,000 a month in the Philippines, you would be able to have a good life. You could put a lot of traveling into that, going out every night, having your meals, having your beers, do what you like. Yeah, you'd live a very cushy life. I do keep saying this, but a lot of people here in England, they maybe drawing a pension and they're sitting, I don't know where a lot of people live, but say you're living in a council place or something like that, and you're having to pay rent and this, that, and the other, and all your bills and everything. If you're getting between, I'd say, £1,000 and £1,500 income a month, for that same money, if you can live not like a rock star, you could probably live over there in the Philippines for the same money quite easily if you do your sums right, do your maths right, and you live within your means. So you can retire in the sun, so to speak, if you find the right spot. But once again, you have to find the right spot, and you have to, obviously, there's a whole list of pros and cons to everything, isn't there? Because just because a country is tropical and, it might not tick your boxes, like someone just mentioned about the heat. If you can't handle the heat, get out of the kitchen. So, but no, for £3,000 a month, you would be walking on water. Alan, hello. Well, thank you, Alan. Good evening to you. MD, hello. It sounds like you were always going to return. You even got your job back. It's like you had a career break. I kind of, before I even left, I knew that I wasn't sure it was, it's not the fact that I couldn't stay over there, but my number one priority is I've got to have Tyler doing something. And there wasn't the opportunities for him over there. Well, I knew there wasn't jobs for him over there. It was all focusing on a college course. And despite the fact he could have taken on this college course, we decided after some discussions together that it probably wasn't, after going into it quite extensively. And he took an entrance exam and all that. And he was all set to actually start the course. But we would have to come back here to get certain documents and that. But we decided together that really it was the best, in all honesty, for him to actually start his career here in England. So he's had a good time and all that. It wasn't quite the right time to do this. I can do it later on, but I have to make sure. It's also the question of, if we'd have stayed out there, if anything was to happen to me and I wasn't around no more, then what's going to become of Tyler if he's out there? I know Ken would look after him, but, I kind of feel that responsibility, that I want to know that he can lead his own life without me. And at the moment, he's at that age. He just needs to sort of get on that first rung and start doing something for himself and learning a trade. So, it's not where I want to be at the minute, but I mean, I'm like I said, I'm going to have to stop this one out for a little while, and but I've got to do right. I love my son, so everything I'm doing, there is a plan, and it will all work out. I'll get to where I want to be, and as long as I can get Tyler sorted out in life, that's my main thing at the minute. So if that makes any sense. Mia, hello, Mia. You missed out of Typhoon. Oh, well, we caught the end of, I forget the name of it. Mercy, Typhoon, or was it? Yeah, Typhoon Mercy. We caught the end of that. That was miles out in the ocean, and just the very tail of that caught Mindanao, and we had about an hour of absolute manic, like wind and rain. That's when in one of my videos I put out the actual, I actually put it in the title, we caught the end of Typhoon Mercy, and where the tree came down right near Ken's house. So but yeah, I have to say I would have loved to have been there through the typhoons. I know it's not much fun for all the people that are losing their homes and everything, but I would have been there with my camera trying to capture every little bit I could. That would have been like a big thing to me, because whenever something's going wrong, I like to be there and film it. So, but yeah, maybe next time. Anyway, good to hear from you, Mia. Lawrence, loved it. Well, thank you, Lawrence. I appreciate it. I do try to put some. Hello, Tyler. Hello. You want to come and say hello with your fancy shirt on? See, I'm wearing my Jensen shirt. I think General Santos very. I liked it in General Santos. He's got his. Where'd you get that shirt from?
Dipolog.
Dipolog. He got his shirt from Dipolog. Dipolog City. I don't know why they call it a city because it ain't much of a city. Oh, look at this. Consider that cracked open. Oh, oh, thanks, mate. Cheers. You can tell Christmas is coming when you're cracking out the Baileys. It's been many years since I've had some of that. Anyway, Lawrence, thank you very much. I do appreciate it. I appreciate everyone who watches my channel. I understand it's not the best channel in the world, but I mean, you know, it's funny because years ago when I was a kid, we had 4 channels. We had, well, ITV 1, 2, and, or was it BBC 1? Then we had ITV, no, BBC 1 and 2, ITV and Channel 4. That's all we used to watch was TV. Now we've got, like, anyone can do anything. Anyone can live stream. All of you here, you can put your webcams on and start live streaming, and somebody will watch you, somebody will listen to you. I do think, however, that seriously though, the internet has made us a lot sadder than we used to be. I know the internet has got lots of information and it's great and all that, but in some ways, I kind of think that we spend too much time looking at our screens, you know, and by the end of the day, it's like, well, what have we done today? No, I've just been watching YouTube all day. Fuck it, I'll just go to bed now. You know, you sit here and you watch video after. I do it too much as well. So, but back in the 70s, when we never had all this, we were out there with fishing rods and, you know, running around the streets.
You're a barrel of laughs.
Tyler doesn't understand because he's Gen Z, but you know, you've got to forgive him for that. They're entitled, you know.
Well, I'm not entitled.
I love you, mate.
Yeah, I love you.
Steve, time. Oh, bloody hell. Steve, please give it a rest. Who cares about the time?
No, it's turning the time stamp.
Yes, because I'm about 1 million miles behind the flipping live chat. That's why. He's basically telling me to hurry the fuck up. Get on with it. Aren't you, Steve? I could just skip a load of the comments. Hello, Mia. What happened with the bike you left? That bike is an antique. It's I left it with Ken, and I said, look, if you want to learn to ride that, then get on it. But she won't. She doesn't want to. Ken can ride a bike, but it's she rides the semi-automatic one. There's another bike there, the sidecar, that she would try and learn to ride, which has gears, because you can't really fall off that because the sidecar is like a stabilizer really. But the one I had, I just said, look, if anybody else in your family wants to use it, then bloody use it. Get some use out of it. You know, it's one of them bikes that will never die. It will always keep going. It's like an old armchair that even the rubbish man don't want to take away. Oh, but I love that bike. Do you know what I thought was great about it? Nothing worked on it when I got it. The brake light didn't work. Nothing, you know, and you're riding it down the road and you're thinking, this is a death trap on wheels, but hey, I don't fucking care. I love it. So
help me God. This is my key here.
You know how, yeah, that's Tyler's KLX 150 bike key.
The key to my happiness right here.
That's his memento.
Yeah.
There is such a sense of absolute freedom out there. There really bloody is. I'm not saying you should go out and ride around with no license, insurance, and all that sort of thing and be totally legal. But I'm just saying, if you get all your P's and Q's in the right place, it's not like over here. Out there, it's just because I think a lot of it's to do with the weather and the roads and the scenery and where you can go. It's just amazing. But that bike's still there. So my next visit, I'll just hop onto it and go for a ride. The only thing with that bike, it didn't like going up hills. If you had two people on it and you tried to go up a hill, it just goes slower and slower. So you keep changing down a gear and it still wouldn't pick up speed. There's Tyler just gone, boom, leaving it behind. But it was all right going the other way down hills. I like that bike. Anyway, I better carry on. George, hi, sorry I missed it. Are you going back to Steve's? Yes, I'm already there. I'm there for as long as he'll put up with me. Race car, hello, race car legends. You're back. I will pop and see you. Are you back at? Yes, I am. I'm back at Steve's car sales. So yeah, it's okay. I can honestly say the first day back there, I just felt like I've never been away. That's just what it felt like. John, the red Mondeos are all getting old and need. Yeah, they've all been sold anyway. Steve sold the entire taxi business. They've all gone, but we were still repairing them. If I go back to like November, December, January, November, December of last year, 2023, and up until mid-January, we were still fixing the taxis. The company Panther in Cambridge had bought them, and they were sending the cars to us to carry on fixing them. But they've all dried. The work's dried up now. They're not bringing the cars to Steve's garage anymore. I think a lot of them, the engines have gone, and they've just scrapped them. And the ones that are still running, they're either getting them fixed at their own garage in Cambridge, or they're just letting them run as is. I don't know what they're doing with them really. But as far as taxi work, I think that's over now. That ship has sailed. Bartos, I don't have a patience for those hob kettles. Hey, friend has one, and it's like waiting ages for a bloody cup of tea. Bartos, let me tell you, what you need is a trip to the Philippines supermarket. Then you'll understand what patience is, because in them supermarkets, nobody has how can I put it? Nobody's in a hurry to even serve the customers. They just put them through. There can be 20 people queued up and they'll just be taking their time. There's no urgency, and you have to learn patience over there. Patience is a virtue. I know what you mean, but I've discovered in life now that over here, it's getting into it's in our culture now, where we have to have everything done like snap, snap, snap. And it shouldn't be that way. Life is too short. So I know I'm the same. You know, you can stand in the kiosk at your petrol station waiting to be served, and the people in front of you are taking bloody ages. And it's like, flipping, I need to get going. But you know, that's life. You just got to sort of like brush it off. But no, I didn't buy that. I know it takes longer to boil that kettle, considerably longer. But the whole premise is that it's going to be cheaper. I'm not going to be paying a bigger electric bill because I'm boiling the kettle. And this applies to people who are boiling the kettle a lot, if you've got electric kettle. So anyway, I'll carry on. I have burnt a few in my youth day, though, because I was blasting heavy metal. Bit like him upstairs then. You put something in the oven and you forget about it until it burns. Yeah, I know. Mike, I hope you've got clean hands, Alan. No dirty fingernails. No, they are perfectly clean. I'm wearing them orange tiger gloves now. Them blue things I was wearing in them videos I showed earlier. They are shit. They just fall to pieces so quick. You can put on a pair of them orange tiger gloves and they'll last the whole day. And then you can take them off and use them again the next day. So I think they're more expensive, but they're worth the money. And on the Mark V, the battery monitoring system cuts off the heated windscreen as the second stage of battery saving after it turns off the stop-start. Well, wouldn't that have to be if there was like a problem? If there was a problem with the battery or the voltage was very low? I should think under normal run of things, if the battery and alternator are all working properly, it shouldn't have to do anything like that. I've never heard of that, but I'll take your word for it. It's a possibility. Dwayne, how about easy fixes to cars? Well, as you know, Dwayne, there's probably never an easy fix, is there? There's a temporary fix, but the easy fix is normally the temporary fix. No, if I find what I'll do, if I find anything that's kind of interesting, that takes maybe, I don't know, like I showed earlier, maybe like a minute. Right, the oven's beeping, okay. Will Tyler hear the beeping? Start the clock. Oh, yeah, he has heard it. Stop the clock. Finn, Alan, can I live nicely on? Oh, we've had that one. We've had that one. Sean, hello. Evening, you're looking well. I'm looking well because I got my I Love Jensen t-shirt on. General Santos. Do you know how I haven't got the word for it, how wowed I was to go to that city? That is the most southern city in the whole of the Philippines. It was right opposite Malaysia. It was like, wow, eating pizza. I loved it. Anyway, good to hear from you, Sean. Ian, Hyland, are you going to do a video on the cost and hassle of coming back to the UK? Sorry if you've covered this. I haven't covered it. I've tried to stay away from budgets because you can say everyone can put out their own little budget what they've spent. I spent quite a lot of money, to be honest with you, but in all fairness, we've done a lot of travelling. We were in the car. We travelled like thousands of miles around Mindanao. Even though we didn't go to that many places, Mindanao is a big island. It's massive, and we've done a lot of travelling. And we had all the hotel fees, the food. It all adds up. But I wanted to see Mindanao, and Philippines has got over 7,000 islands. I was on basically one island, but that one island of Mindanao is so flipping big that there was a million places to go, and I'm never going to see it all. In 100 lifetimes, I'd never see it all. It's just, but I want to see more. But anyway, let me get back to your coming back here. Let me put this into some kind of perspective. Before I left, I've been in this house since 2009, since it was built. I got this house brand new, and since 2009 up until 2023, I've lived here. And as you do, you collect stuff. And in 2023, I put a load of stuff in this house on eBay to try and sell it, get rid of it. I sold a number of items. What I didn't sell and I wanted to keep, I put in the loft. I even took the 2 beds and took them apart and put them in the loft because they were good bed frames and all that. The mattresses, the settee, which was 14 years old, I flung out. I got the council to take them away for 50 quid. But I got rid of nearly everything. So this house was pretty much, apart from like knives and forks and plates and stuff, which I left, a few bits and pieces, I pretty much emptied the house. So when I come back, I had to buy 2 brand new bed mattresses, but we got them from Argos. They were about roughly £250 each for this foam mattresses. They come in a sealed bag, so when you open it, the mattresses sort of like expand. We've got 2 mattresses, all new bedding, pillows, and all that sort of thing. I've had to buy clothes, shoes, food. I've had to set the internet up. I've had to change my phone contract. I've had to set the water, the council tax I was paying anyway. Gas and electric I've had to set up. So I mean, it's been a fair old cost coming back. Not that much when you think about it. I mean, probably, I don't know. It's probably been a grand or more, which isn't a great deal. I mean, that's the whole thing. There is a cost to coming back. I mean, the fare to get back here was about £1,200, maybe about nearly £1,300 for me and Tyler, two tickets. But that was Qatar Airways, and Singapore Airways, which I have been using. They wanted £1,000 a ticket one way. So in Qatar Airways had a good deal on. So I saved myself about £700 there. But no, it's there wasn't, to be honest with you, there wasn't much to do here. There really wasn't. It was just basic stuff. You just make a few. Well, you can go online and sort your energy. I got Eon, so I just sort them out. Council tax was running. Just your basic utilities are easy enough. We got the fibre broadband now, because I used to have the normal broadband that comes into your house through I think it's copper wire, I was told. But now we've got the fibre broadband, which is £24 a month, I was paying £37 a month before I left for internet. And now I've got the faster internet for £24 a month. So and that's fixed until 2026. That 2026. That's with U-Fibre. So I think that weren't too bad, and that's 150 megabytes a second, they say, which probably isn't that fast compared to a lot of them out there, but it's fast enough for me. I don't need ultra fast internet. So no, it hasn't cost that much. Yeah, £1,000 to £1,500 it's cost. So no, it's been okay, no problem. Dwayne, have you packed your bag yet? I wish I was over there for Christmas. I really do. But we'll see if we can do that next year, because I'd like to spend Christmas over there. They're big on Christmas in the Philippines. So, Matty, hello. How are you doing? I hope you're having a good one. Watch Whisper, how are you doing? I hope you're settled now in UK for now. Enjoy the cold. Yeah, it's lovely, isn't it? That's okay. I got some free jackets from work. Yeah, Steve's had some brand new. I think I showed the jacket on my last live stream, but he's got these nice jackets and they got fleece inside them. And I've got my old blue jacket back with the Steve's car cells on it. I like that blue one. I preferred the blue one. So I'll be wearing that next week. Hello, mate. How you doing? I've never actually asked you, where the bloody hell do you live? My sentiments as well as yours in 50s, assessing the planning next chapter of my life in the Philippines. Fly to Philippines on Tuesday. We'll be in CDO for 4 days, then off to Buchanan for 1.5 months. Where? Let me know whereabouts you're living. What are you in Mindanao or are you somewhere else? I've never asked that question. You know what? I'm going to meet you one of these days when I go over there. I'm going to hunt you out, root you out. We'll go out for dinner. Okay? So remember that. We'll have a chicken chop suey with a red horse. I mean it. I'm serious. Nelly, hello. Enjoying the good old British weather. I'm used to it. I'm used to the cold. What's really bad is when you get the cold night and you get the wind and it blowing on you and it cuts through you. Because I don't have a winter coat, not a proper winter coat. But yeah. No, I'm getting to that age now where I don't really like the cold anymore. I used to love autumn, where it just get into that stage where you get like the first frosts and it was just get that nip in the air in the evenings. I used to like that. But now I prefer like a warmer climate. It's because
I was already coming downstairs.
flipping it, that was fast.
I got food sense. That's my 6 cents. Food sense.
They call you lightning. He has got a sweet chili chicken pizza. Is that it? Sweet chili chicken from Iceland?
No, it's a KFC 10-piece volume.
Iceland do the best. I don't know what the name on the box is, but they do the best sweet chili chicken pizzas you can imagine.
It's so tasty. I love it.
Nice. I do like them. I did get a sweet chili chicken pizza from Tesco's and it wasn't the same. So good on you, Iceland, for still selling them, actually. We buy them like 4 at a time. So enough for a week. Route Planner, hello. How are you doing, Paul?
My God, tells everyone that I'm a pizza addict.
There's no shame in eating pizza. We have tasted so many pizzas over the last months. We've had the deep pans, we've had the thin crusts.
Feel the crust, that sausage.
But I still like the ones from Iceland that do the sausage, the hot dog sausage in the crust.
It's not for me.
It is for me.
Sweet chicken pizzas.
It floats my boat.
Food that I could eat for the rest of my life, and I'd be your fajitas or these pizzas.
Tomorrow I've got to do some cooking. Old El Paso fajitas. Do you know how expensive? I said to Tyler, Tyler said to me, why do I buy this? Why do £3.80, right? Which is basically some seasoning and some fajita wraps. That is a joke. £3.80 that cost, right? And then you've got to buy the chicken for another like nearly £5. Then you've got to buy like the peppers, the lettuce. The lettuce was 89p by itself, and tomatoes and other bits and pieces you want to put in it. So when you're finished, it's quite an expensive little meal. And Tyler says to me, well, if it costs so much, why'd you buy it? And I said, well...
Don't say it like that. Why are you buying it? No, I just asked.
And I said, because we like it. That's why we buy it.
I believe that its price makes up for it in the happiness it gives when you take a bite.
It does. It does. It's worth it when the meal is made and you eat it and you think this is bloody lovely. So that's why I buy it. Did I? Oh, sorry, Paul. Good evening. How are you? Hope you're keeping well. Thank you, Paul. Yes, doing well. Still kicking. And hope you're doing well as well. Paul here has got a very good YouTube channel in Glasgow, is it? You go all around Glasgow showing the sights and everything. So you're doing quite well, aren't you? Your channel. I do watch some of your videos occasionally. They're very good. So if anyone wants to watch Paul's channel, it's quite interesting. Hello, foreigner expat making money, Philippines channel. Missed you earlier this year. I left Buchanan in mid-January as you arrived, then saw your channel and your Philippine videos. Oh, well, thank you very much. So where are you now? Are you on the moon? I like Mindanao. I think it's like the Wild West. I love it. I can't get enough of it. I wish I was there now. It's so, well, Buchanan, it is so beautiful. It's mountains everywhere you go. It's just like, and here I am in Cambridgeshire, Huntingdonshire. It's like flat like that. Nothing going on. It's like coming from beautiful psychedelic mind-bending trip to grey blackout 1930s bloody Eastern Europe. Anyway, I better carry on. Matty, wet belts, the work of the devil. It's the work of cheapness. That's what it is. I think it's terrible. People go out and they spend a lot of money buying these cars. I mean, you take the Citroen C3 that I done and the Peugeot 3008. When you look at the cars, a lot of people would look at these two cars and they'd think they're nice looking cars, okay? Despite what everybody else might think, a lot of people will look at these cars and they think they're nice looking cars and they'll pay a lot of money to buy these cars. And then all of a sudden, the wet belt will take a dump. At best, they will catch the wet belt before it breaks or strips its teeth and blows the bloody engine up. But then they'll still have a bill, a huge, probably £1,000 repair bill to get the wet belt replaced and everything else that goes with it. So, a lot of people, they buy cars and they think they can just drive them, have them serviced once a year. But I think of these wet belts, that you're treading on eggshells. You've really got to you've got to make sure you get that oil changed at the right intervals, because if you don't, then belts, they ain't going to last. They're not lasting anyway with the right oil. Artisan cars. I have a car that needs brakes stripping down and probably replacing because it's sticking. Yep, well, I can tell you, I've been there. The amount of brake calipers I've changed and brakes I've changed, yeah, I'd be a millionaire by now. You know what they say? If I had £1 for every brake pad I've changed. Samuels. Hello, is there any advantage to wet belt? They would probably tell you, the salesman or the manufacturers, they'd probably tell you that the engines are quieter and they're more efficient. But it's a load of bollocks. They're cheaper. They're cheaper to produce. That's what it comes down to. It costs more money to fit a proper metal timing chain than it does to fit a rubber wet belt. R. Evans, hello. Petrol in oil destroys the belt. Well, yeah. Petrol will melt anything. Finn, Alan, how much money do you need to live a decent life in the Philippines? Finn, are you the £3,000 a month guy? Because you're £3,000 a month. You are king over there. You might as well put a crown on your head and walk around. Put some Elton John glasses on and you're well away. For £3,000 in British money, you can live a freaking good life. I'm telling you. Really good life. So if you're in that situation, I'll tell you what you want to do. Why don't you book your ticket, go over for a few weeks to somewhere, go where all the foreigners go. Go Cebu City. There's lots of foreigners hang around that area. It's a big city. They've got all the westernised shopping malls. Or go to, well, maybe not Manila, I don't know. Cebu City seems to be like one of the main places, okay, where they've got everything you'd probably want. And from there, you can navigate your way to different destinations. So you can go over there and live a kind of life that you would live over here, similar. You can probably get a lot of products there that you can get here. Nice place to live. Go and have a blast. See what you think. Go and experience it. See if it's for you. If it is, then you can go a bit further into it. The trouble is, it's no good people like me saying, yeah, it's great, or anyone else on YouTube. You have to do it for yourself at the end of the day, because it's only going to come down to your own personal experience. And all the goodwill in the world might not be enough for you, and you might hate it. But it's worth doing it. Go and have a blast and see what you think. But there again, there's many other countries in the world, isn't there? So you've got to kind of think where you want to go. Short trips, men's the oil not hot enough to burn off petrol and water. Well, short trips are never good, are they? They used to call them doctors' cars, didn't they? Never buy a doctor's car. They only go round the corner. Yeah, the engine would be worn out. He's done short trips. Dan. Alan, thanks. Reply earlier on flange and stud removal. I have no access to cut it off. Angle grinder, alas. Bad angle. You know, sometimes you can get them. You can get little, not the big angle grinders we normally have. You can get the little ones with a little small blade on them. Torch heat also impossible. Split flange repair maybe. Yeah, some of these. If you can't get access, then you could be in trouble. You may even have to try and get a drill get a drill bit up there or something like that if you can onto the bit of nut and try and break it off. Or if you can get one of them long, you know, like an air chisel, get that up there and try and chisel the nut off. Sometimes you just got to piss around. So it's never easy in some of these situations. Bloody hell, mate. Wet belt. I will stick my chain. Would not want one of them. I don't think anybody does. Unfortunately, it's the way the world's going. And many different makes of car now are fitted with Peugeot engines. And Peugeot seem to like their wet belts. So, Clive, welcome home to Mondeos and shitty weather. Well, thank you, Clive. Yes, I don't mind the Mondeo so much, but I don't like the shitty weather. I don't like the grey blanket cloud and just looks miserable. That's the trouble with this country. You know, us Brits, generally speaking, we're very nice people. We're very friendly and chatty and talkative, but we look like we don't want to talk because of the weather. But when we get talking, we know we're fine. We're fine with each other. We like to chat about anything. But that's the problem with this country, isn't it? The weather. It's miserable and it reflects on us. When the weather is sunny and warm and lovely, then we're happy. Robert, hello. Nice to see you back. I'm a retired mechanic. Never done a wet belt. Glad I'm out of it. Wet belts are made to fail and they want you to buy a new car. Ford says 150k or 10 years. Yeah, depends what vehicle it is. But a lot of these Citroens, like the Citroen C3 I done, the wet belt replacement interval is either 60,000 miles or 70,000 miles, depending on how you drive it. And to me, that's terrible because it's not a 5-minute job. It's quite an expensive job to have that done. You know, you're probably talking the best part of $1,000 in parts and labour to have that job done. And that's a big old bill for some people to swallow, considering they've bought this nice car and they just want to get some miles out of it. So no, what do you do? A lot of cars are being fitted with these now. Everything seems to be going the wrong way. Cheapness. No 6 years or 100k. Well, it depends what that 100k is on, because the two belts I've done would never make 100k. They would have snapped. Paul, good to see you back. You're missing the Philippines. I definitely am missing the Philippines. Yes, I cry in my pillow every night. No, I'm missing the warm weather. I'm missing the lifestyle. It's well, let's be fair. I mean, I've just had 10 months of doing nothing but just wandering around doing what I want to do. Oh, let's go swimming today. Let's go jump in the pool. You know, that sort of things. The life of Riley, they call it. Now I've got to knuckle down and do some hard graft. You know, like where there's an action, there's a reaction. Sort of like that. Kenny, I am back to Davao on January the 8th. Signed the final paperwork for the sale of my condo, then off to Thailand. Well, good on you, Kenny. Have a blast. So you've obviously owned a condo in Davao City. I've seen some of them condos, not actually been in them, but I've drove past them. I don't know which one you live in. And probably might have been the ones that I was watching, but there's some big old condo blocks there in Davao. And I was thinking to myself, I'm not sure I'd want to live in one of them. It just didn't tick my box. But there again, I've never been like a condo person. I've always been like a house person. But anyway, I wonder how your travels in Thailand will be. That's going to be a bit of a different experience, isn't it? Be interesting. Do you have a YouTube channel? Do you film anything and put it out there so we can all see it? Let us know, Kenny. Bits depend on blood type. Well, I can safely say I have got the blood type that the mosquitoes like. 100%, they go for me. They see me a mile off and they're coming homing in and they get me. And I can't be like looking around all the time because they're so quick. They're quicker than I am. They've been and gone before I know what's happened. Robert, I stand corrected. Still shit. George talks. Going back soon. I will be. I'm not sure exactly when, though. So, but I will be, without a doubt. Nice to see you. Well, thank you, fellow tractor. Can't believe I never asked before. How do you enjoy your tea? I don't anymore. I have milk tea. I have milk tea in the Philippines. That's what I have now. But I was always a big tea drinker. And you're going to disagree with this, but I always put the milk and sugar in the teacup and then put the water in. I know you're supposed to put the milk in afterwards, but I always put the milk in beforehand. And I like the tea to ferment. I put a tea bag in the cup as well, and I like the tea to ferment for a little while until I don't have it anemic. I have it so you've got like not too brown, but like a mid brownish color. So it's a little bit of strongness there, but not too strong. But I stopped drinking tea a couple of years back. I was getting a lot of headaches because I'll put it down to the fact I was drinking a lot of tea, and it was either the caffeine in the tea or it was the one sugar I was having in each tea. So I just cut tea out altogether, and I never did go back. The only tea I've drank in the last year has been a couple of Lipton's tea, and that was back in the Philippines. And I'd just go to, like, I'd get some of their milk teas they make, and they're cold anyway. So, but I do not drink tea anymore. I have no tea bags in this house whatsoever. I have a jar of coffee now, and I'll have a coffee in the morning and probably a coffee when I come home from work, and that's it. Dave, hello, Dave. Welcome home. And then one question: TDCI 2 litre. Yes, I'll come down to your question in a minute. Buy everything, go Lazada. Yeah, okay. I didn't have Lazada. I never ordered nothing off Lazada. I used Shopee a couple of times, but I didn't have an account. Ken's sister has got an account because I tried to use Shopee, right? And I wanted to buy my DJI Osmo off Shopee, but they wouldn't allow me to buy it because I've never used them before, and they wouldn't accept my card, my debit card. They wouldn't accept it. So it means I would have to pay cash, but they wouldn't allow me to buy it because it was too expensive. I would have to buy something small and work my way up the ladder, so to speak. So I just got Ken's sister to bloody order it. And then it takes like nearly a week to arrive because it comes from Manila and it's got to be sent all the way down to Mindanao. So, you know, the trouble is living in Mindanao, unless there's a specific shop that stocks something and you know where to go, which probably means a long drive to get it, you have to order things off Lazada or Shopee if you can get an account with them as a foreigner. That's another thing. And then you've got to wait for it to arrive. It's not like Amazon. Amazon in UK, you can get it the next day in a lot of cases. You've just got to wait it out over there. And then it's like a lot of cases, you pay for what you've just bought. You pay the courier. You don't, like over here, you'll just use your credit card, or your card details will be on Amazon account, and it'll just be paid for, like automatic. In the Philippines, a lot of these places like Shopee and that, when they send a part out to you that you've just bought, like my DJ Osmo, you actually pay the money to the courier who delivers it. So it's a whole new ball game over there, but it's fun. I like it. I like the whole idea of it all. Paul, really enjoyed your videos, Ellen. Well, thank you, Paul. You've got some good videos yourself, mate. So I'm impressed. Your channel impresses me because you get out there and you're doing it. And I will watch more of your videos, Paul, when I get the time. Dave, manual or auto? Now you're asking. Flipping heck. Have you got a simpler question to ask? It all depends. It all depends. I was always a manual person myself, but I have had some automatic cars in my time, and I preferred the automatics because I had a hand free. And when you've got a spare hand, you can have your milkshake, you can have your hamburger. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, automatics inherently use more fuel. And if they go wrong, they could be a lot more expensive to repair. So there are downsides. But I kind of like the automatics these days. And you ain't got to worry about a clutch either. So, you know. No, it's just going to be down to your own preference, what you think. If you're going to buy a car, I'd drive one of each if you can. See what you think. Everything you're doing is for the best for your family, mate. Like you said, you made memories you both will never forget. Yes, thank you, Dave. Yes, we've certainly made a lot of memories. Life is an adventure. So we shall carry on, keep on keeping on, keep the spirit high, keep moving, and we will get to where we want to be. So this is not back here. It's not like a big setback. I mean, you know, it's not exactly ideal situation, but I can capitalize on this situation and make it a good situation. That's the way I've got to look at it. So thank you, Dave. All is good. Just like sitting here tonight, what would I be doing if I wasn't sat here live streaming? I would be sat here watching somebody else's YouTube video. So, I would rather be here talking to you guys. Andrew, hello. One way or another, we all give up something for our kids. It's what good parents do. It all comes right. Yes, you're correct, Andrew. The way I see it, and I guess you see it the same, you do what you have to do. You've got to do what you feel is the right thing to do. I agree with it. Clive, hello. And your Mondeo videos have been invaluable to me. I'm solving problems. Well, good. That was the whole intention. Amongst all the messing around and all that, you see, my favourite part of making the car videos wasn't actually making the car videos at all. It was all the shenanigans in between, the office scenes. That was the fun bit for me. The car bit was the boring bit. But yeah, I mean, if it helps. If it helps, they will always be there, as long as YouTube doesn't shut me down, or the company dissolves itself or something. So They will always stay there for anybody to view them if they can. If it does help somebody, then great. I would love to meet you both at some point. Well, no worries. If you ever do, we'll go out for a beer. Sean, hello. Does the 2.3 Duratec internals, i.e. conrods, fit the 2-litre Duratec? Oh, you're asking. I would not know that. No idea. But I tell you what you could do. If you phone up your nearest Ford parts dealer, give them the registration of a car, and if you've got like a registration of each car, then you can ask them what's the part number for the conrods on each car, and if they're the same part number, then you'll know. But I wouldn't know that. So what's Tyler trade going to be? Well, he wants to follow me. He wants to fix cars. So that's what he's doing. He's trying to fix cars. And by the way, I have taught him a few things this week. If you're an MOT tester, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But MOT testers, they have a set routine where they start in the driver's seat. They will examine certain things inside the cab of the car. Then they'll get out of the car and they'll have a set routine walking around the top half of the car. And then they'll go underneath the car and they'll have another set routine walking underneath the car. And the reason they do that is so that their chances of missing stuff is very limited. So chances are they will pick up anything that's wrong because they'll be the routine they go through. They're examining every part of that car. They're not going to miss nothing. If you don't know what you're doing, you're going to be going backwards and forwards looking at stuff and you're going to miss shit. It's going to happen. So I've been teaching him the MOT tester's routine and he's doing quite well. He's getting the hang of it now and he understands the importance of having this routine when he's checking a car. It's not for MOT purposes. It's obviously when you're just doing a prep on a car or whether you're doing a service, you've got to have a routine that you're going to work around, which makes you more efficient in the long run. And the one particular car he was doing, he come back and he noticed that one of the front anti-roll bar drop links was worn out. And he noticed that one of the rear anti-roll bar drop links was worn out. And I showed him something which is quite important. It was a Mark II Focus rear anti-roll bar drop link. And I said to him, you grab the anti-roll bar right next to the drop link and you pull the bar up and down like that. And I said, what can you feel? And he goes, I can't feel nothing. I said, now get the palm of your hand and now bang the anti-roll bar like that with the palm of your hand. And when he done that, there was bump, 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 because there was a tiny, tiny bit of play in that ball joint. And then I said to him, that is why there is more than one way you have to check suspension components to get the play in them. So he kind of understood that after that. And he's getting the hang of what to check and what to look for. So I'm getting quite confident if he does that enough times, he will be able to walk around a car and know what to look for and know what to expect and know how to check. I'm trying to get him to check suspension parts at the moment and how to use lever bars and where to use the lever bars and how to wriggle the wheels and everything like that. So he understands. And I want to find cars with worn out joints so I can show him what a worn out joint looks like. And he's slowly getting it. He's only been there like a couple of weeks now and he's getting the feel for it. So that's what he wants to do. He wants to fix cars. I said, what do you want to follow me for? Bloody hell. But he does. So I just have to go with what he wants. We'll see. Mr. Blobby was all we had. I remember Mr. Blobby. Spot on comment by yourself. Tyler getting further education in the UK than the Philippines. UK qualification to get a good Western career. job that's set. Yes, that is it. We were going to go down the whole CMU, the Central Mindanao University, and I guess I'm not going to know what that could have worked out like. He took believe me, when we went there was a particular day they were doing the entrance exam, and we got there, and there were, I'm telling you, there were like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of students all lined up, queues of them waiting to take entrance exams. And we thought, flipping heck, we're going to be here all day. So we went back home, come back like near the end of the day, and there was only a little bit of a queue left. So he joined the queue and he went in and he took the exam, and he didn't get the pass mark. He got a little bit below, but to be fair, he said to me there were questions on these exam papers that you would just not get back in England. They were asking questions that was some of them were related to game shows or chat shows they have in the Philippines. So he would have never known the answers to them. He just had to have guessed them. But they allowed him to actually take the course. They said he could have a place. They'd let him in anyway. But we'd have to come back to England, to the Philippine Embassy in London, and we needed a stamp of seal and various other documents we needed and all that. He'd have to go to his school and get other pieces of paperwork and all that. We could have done all that, but I had this discussion with Tyler. We had a sit down, and when we spoke to each other, and I said, look, we can do this, but I'm having my reservations about it, and he was having his reservations about it. And I thought, in all honesty, in the long run, it's probably best that we just get you a job back in England. You can learn a trade there, and then later on, you can do what you like. As long as you've got something behind you, you can always fall back on. At least you can say, but in the Philippines, that there is no real job he can do. There's lots of work in the Philippines, but it's not the kind of work he would be able to do. And he was only on a tourist visa anyway. He did get a student permit, so he could have done this course and all that. But I was getting concerned about it as well. So I think at his age, you know, it was too much of a risk. So, yeah, to come back here to England, get him doing something, and I will make my plans, and we'll go back to the Philippines for visits. And then in X amount of time, then I can say, right, when we're at a certain point, I can say, right, now I can make a decision. Should I leave for a longer period or not? We'll work it all out as we go along. Nothing is totally clear at the minute, but I've got a kind of plan, kind of working it out as we go now. But anyway, I know. Finn. Hi, Alan and Tyler. Alan, have you been in touch with... no, I haven't spoke to Kevin yet. I will have to catch up with him. But I believe at some point we'll be going out for dinner anyway. It's getting that time, you know, roast dinner near Christmas. So, yeah, I'll catch up with Kevin. Sean, Channel 4 didn't come along till 89, I think. Remember going to a phone box with 10 pence, and when it ran, it would beep. Yeah, oh yeah. I still remember those days where I lived with my parents. We were right opposite like a little shopping mall sort of thing, and there were two red phone boxes there, and that's where we'd have to go to make phone calls because we never had a phone in the house. So and they were the phones where you had the dial, you know, the proper dial. You dial the numbers and it'd go dial it around, then it would go and it went back. Oh yeah, I miss them days. Alan, Channel 4 with countdown. Little jobs and opportunity in Buchanan for foreigners unless a digital nomad. Yeah. It's all right for somebody like me. I mean, I've done my I've done my time like working. You know, I've got, you know, work experience behind me. I've got a lifetime of work experience on cars behind me. So I'm all right, Jack, so to speak. But Tyler, he hasn't. He needs to learn a bit of discipline. I think they should bring back national service. You know, I think that would be quite important in a lot of young men's lives. John, what has Tyler been up to since you returned? Well, he's been working with me at Steve's car sales. So he's been getting up every day. Today, we went into Sports Direct. And I thought, I know, what's he going to buy? He bought a pair of work trousers. You know them trousers with all the different pockets and stuff that you can put screwdrivers and all that in. He's bought a pair of them trousers, 30 quid. So he's going to wear them trousers when he goes to work Monday. And they're going to be his work trousers. So I thought, well, I can't argue with that. He's buying something that's going to be useful. Finn, and if I am 60 years, is it possible to meet a lady about my age? Not here in England, it isn't. No, here in England, you may as well put the lid on your coffin. But no, if you go over to the Philippines, you'll meet somebody, no problem. Oh yeah, it's not that they go for older men. It's just the fact that they've got a different mindset. Seriously, you should just go over there and, you know, speak to people. Go and see people. Go and get involved. Go up to the lady at the local cafe and just talk to her if she speaks English, and you'll find how friendly and welcome all these people over in the Philippines are. They are so friendly. They're so lovely. So, yeah. Finn, hi, Alan and Tyler. And have you been in touch with? No. We've had that. I will get hold of Kevin. I will see him shortly. Clive, Alan, bringing you a new take on YouTube on how to get drunk, mix drinks, and lose the plot live. I could quite easily do that. I don't want to get drunk because there was a particular time, and if Dwayne, you're still watching, you'll know all about that, wouldn't you? When we talk about the music box in St Ives when it was still there, I was mixing my drinks, and I was out of it. And there's a set of stairs that go down to the exit, and he had me by the back of my bloody collar like that, and he pulled me back, or I'd have fallen down the stairs. And he had to frog march me out of the bloody club. I think I did throw up, but I sat on there's like a little fast food place, and I sat there, and everybody walking past me was just a blur. And when I got home, I laid down on the living room floor, and that was the first time the floor actually did move beneath me, and I was spinning. And I thought after that, never again. And I never got that drunk again. Paul, Philippines looks a beautiful country. It certainly is. It really is. Clive, is Monica still there? She's a legend. Yes, she's actually part self-employed, but she's still there. She's still there in the afternoons, so we still see Monica. Yes, Monica is very pretty indeed, and she hasn't changed. She's still the same Monica. Graham, on watching one of your previous videos, you were worried about the future of the country now that a Labour government has got in. Have your fears worsened? Well, it's kind of like this. I don't think it's going to matter what government we had in place. The Conservatives were absolutely useless. After Boris Johnson and his lot, especially over COVID, you know, they all knew all along that COVID wasn't such a bad disease that they were all making it out to be. It was either Whitty or Valance, you know, the two that used to come out and give you the daily count. One, I can't remember which one it is. He came out on telly the other few weeks back, and he was saying, yeah, we didn't know how much fear to instill into the British public about COVID, knowing that it wasn't really that bad to the majority of the population. I mean, sure, COVID was a nasty flu, but there was no justification to shut down the whole bloody country for a flu virus. You know, they should have just isolated the vulnerable people, and everybody else could have got on with it. But they didn't, did they? Or they all went along with this great big flipping lie over COVID. And after COVID, I just lost interest or faith in the government at the time, which was Boris Johnson. And Rishi Sunak was, by the time it got to him, I wasn't really interested anyway. Keir Starmer, I just have him down as a communist, or he's just raping the country for everything he can get. He wasn't going to be no better. The only thing I'll say about Keir Starmer is that before he got elected, he was on television and he was saying all the right things. He was kind of saying things that I'm thinking to myself, this don't sound like Keir Starmer. He was saying what the majority of the people in this country would agree with. But then he gets in and he does the opposite. And it just tells me that he's just an out and out liar. He doesn't give a shit. All he cares about is himself and his own high-class people that he mixes with. Probably all them lot in the World Economic Forum. That's the kind of people he wants to deal with. And he sees all the people in this country as nothing. So I would rather, the way I see it, governments are going to come and governments are going to go. I can go back, 40 years to my parents. They'd all be arguing over, when all the family come around, they'd all be arguing over politics. And nothing's changed today. It's still the same. So there's nothing I can do. The only way you're going to change politics is to get involved in politics and try and get yourself in the, House of Commons and and make changes that way, really. But by protesting on the street really isn't going to get you anywhere. So now, at the moment, as things stand, as much as I'm not agreeing with the Labour government, they're not affecting me personally. So I'd just rather stay out of it. When they start to affect me personally, then I'm going to have to try and make plans to see what I can do about it. But no, it's one of them things. Some people don't watch the news, do they? Some people don't get involved in politics whatsoever. I think it's important to know what's going on in the country. And I mean, I know there's so much information out there these days. You don't know what's right and what's wrong half the time. But I am definitely not in favour of this Labour government. And I would prefer them to be out. I would love to see Nigel Farage get in power. But he hasn't got the backing. He hasn't got enough people in his party to actually be in power. But it would be nice to see somebody who you believe would actually do better for the actual country. But we'll see. Hopefully, I won't be here in that many years to come, so it won't be my problem. There's nothing I can do about it anyway. But no, Labour's never done it for me. I was conservative. I've always been conservative. Since the mid-90s, I've always been conservative. But since 2020, I've kind of lost faith in them all. I hope that kind of answers your question. Clive, much better looking than you. Sorry. Bring back money. Steve, sorry, been offline for a while. Are you back? Yes, I am. I'm back with some spanners for the time being. Kenny, you'll have to get a tin bath in front of the fire and get told to keep topping it up with a kettle. Yeah, that could well be coming. Bring back money. Lol. You can fix Tesla. Oh my God. I've looked through a window, through the driver's window at a Tesla dash. That's about it. That's all I know about a Tesla. Good to see Tyler. He's a happy lad. Paul, got a aircon leak on my 1.8 TDCi Galaxy 2009. Any places that I could look? Well, really, you need one of them little sniffer guns that go around them. But it's normally the condenser. I would say, which is like the radiator in front of your coolant radiator, normally at the bottom or at the sides. They will leak because that's where they get all the elements of the weather sprayed onto them, and they corrode and they'll eventually just break and start leaking. But if you've got one of them sniffer guns that beep, then you can like detect where the gas is coming out from. Clive, bring back money. What is the time? Right, we're nearly 2 hours. I'm not going to go 3 hours like last week, so I'm going to call it a day in a minute. I'm going to cut it off at 2 hours. Matt, good evening. Welcome back to Shitty Starmerland. Keir Starlin. Yeah. You know, all them years they called the Cold War where they were fighting against the communists. Now the bastards are in full fucking view, aren't they? They're in the Houses of Parliament. What can I say? The funny thing is, all these people with their little banners up, you know, they side with the communists. They don't even know what communism is. It's like if they had to live under proper communism, they'd fucking shit themselves. Or they'd get shot. Dave, Hyden, where can I get a brake pedal rubber booster and bulkhead seal for a Mark III Mondeo? Main dealers stopped selling them. I don't know. eBay? Don't know. Alan, would Ken come over to the UK to be with you for a while? No. Too cold. And she's got her ducks and everything to look after. So, no, I don't think she'd want to come over here anyway. She'll probably take one look at the weather and go back again. Lawburn, are you just back for a short time? No, probably a bit longer than a short time. So I'm not too sure. I'm probably back for 18 months, 2 years. I'm gonna have to play it by ear, see how things go. But that's I mean, you know, I could take a few trips over there in the meantime, sort of thing. No, I would like to retire over there, but I'm not at retirement age yet. So as soon as Tyler's doing his own thing and he's secure, then I will plan my own what I'm going to do. So it's never easy. Nigel, welcome back to you. Unfortunately, politicians have not improved. No, that's for sure. They still get paid a lot of money though, don't they? They probably had the Liar's Playbook in their back pockets. John, I enjoyed watching your banana cake video. Oh, flipping, that's an old one now. Yeah, you want to make one of them? They're very nice. That's if you don't want to put on too much weight. Dwayne, going 3 tons Sunday just after 5 p.m. Jack and ice on me if you fancy it. 3 tons. No, I don't think I'll be going down the pub. No, it's not me. But anyway, have one on me. Sam, sorry if it's been asked and I've missed it, but are you going back to the taxi garage? Yes, no, yes, it's fine. I am back there. It's not a taxi garage anymore. The taxis have all flown. They've all been sold. Tridents. That looks like Bart Simpson. If you live in the Philippines, make sure you have deep wallet. No NHS, GP or dentist. It's all private. My wife is from Philippines, but the flights are so expensive for family of. Well, the flights will be, depending where you're flying from. It's not cheap to get there or get back. It's certainly not cheap. I gave up on the NHS over here when I tried to get Tyler's teeth done. Just got messed around. So in the end, we went private in the Philippines, and it's cost me well over £1,000 to have his brace done, but it's definitely cheaper than what it would have been private over here. I don't have health problems myself, so I didn't bother with any healthcare over there. And the way I see it, I mean, people won't agree with this, but the way I see it, why should I pay for health insurance if I'm not going to use it? I could spend thousands on health insurance, never use it, and then it's lost, it's gone. And chances are, if you don't get the real high health insurance, if you get anything wrong with you, you'll probably find that health insurance you've taken out won't even cover the treatment you need. So my idea is to have plenty of money in the bank. That way, if you get a health problem, you can just pay for it. And to be honest with you, I'm quite happy like that. I know you've got the NHS here in England, but if you're not in England, then you've got to do what you've got to do. And it's to me, if you're in that kind, if you're in the kind of person that you've got a lot of health issues and you want to take out health insurance, you've got to ask yourself the question: should you be even going over there with a load of health problems? Or if you are, can you get the medication over there that you need? So it's a tricky subject. The older you get, the more health problems you're probably going to get. So it's probably something that's worth looking into if you're at a certain age and you know you've got a few health issues. But I've been lucky so far. So I'm inclined to wing it myself. What's that? Squiddy Pickle? Hello. Really appreciated the videos over the years, and they have really helped me out. I'm looking to tackle the clutch and flywheel on modified Mondeo. Just wondering if the clutch needs bleeding. Yes, it does. If you put the gearbox and all that back in, you do have to bleed it. I think on one of my videos, I did show how I do it. If you get like a piece of washer pipe, windscreen washer pipe, and put that on the slave cylinder nipple, and put that piece of washer pipe into a jam jar, half filled with brake fluid, so the pipe is inside the brake fluid, then you crack off the bleed nipple or undo the little nut thing on the actual slave cylinder, so the fluid can come out. Then I put my left hand on the foot brake and hold the foot brake pressed down. No, right hand on the foot brake and keep the foot brake pressed down. And then I'll hold the clutch pedal with my left hand and I'll push it down to the ground, wait a few seconds, lift it up, push it down again, and do that about 10 times. and you'll probably find that that's it bled after that. Once you have done that and do up your bleed nipple on the slave cylinder, the first few times you push the clutch pedal up and down, it might be a little bit soft and sit a bit low, but keep kicking the pedal up and down a number of times, and you'll probably find the pedal stabilizes and is fine after that. So yeah, that's all you have to do. Rise, when did you land? I got back on the 12th of November. Andy, why did you leave? Did you break up the reason, or did you break up the reason? Oh, I've gone into in depth why. Why did I leave the Philippines? It was simply because I couldn't get Tyler a job over there, and the college wasn't going to be working out for us. That's why we come back here, to get Tyler a job, so he could start a career in England. That was the big problem. Finn, why is your Tyler living with you? The mothers are normally quite difficult that way. I've had Tyler since he was 5. So his mother at the time left this area to go and move to a different area, and probably not knowing what it was going to work out like, she left Tyler with me. So I've had him ever since, and I took full custody of him. So I've had him since he was 5 years old. He's now 18. So that's why. Sean, wet belts are just cheap for me. Chain drive is the best, but like anything, if a car isn't maintained regular, then yeah, it's the same old story. A lot of these cars, they don't get the oil changed at the right. They don't, it's people don't understand how important it is to have the oil changes done at the right intervals. That's half the trouble. Matty, top man Matty. My car's 22 years old. Still change your oil every 5,000 miles. That's because, Matty, you've been around the block and you know what you have to do. So there you go. Listen to Matty. He knows what to do. Jay, don't see the benefit of a wet belt. Ordinary dry rubber time belt are quiet. Took me 45 minutes to change the belt on my 205 GTI. Transit wet belts, a day's work. Yeah, it's a lot of work on a transit. It is flipping horrible shit. They are. Bloody hell. Yeah. That's what it comes down to, money. It's cheap. It's cheap to manufacture these nasty little wet belts. That's all it comes down to. They'll never admit it, though. How can you get £3,000 in benefits when somebody working a full-time job doesn't get that? Well, it's no good asking me. Who are you asking? I don't get no benefits. Who was the guy who's got £3,000 in benefits? He's back there in the comments somewhere. Keith, you're my favourite blogger on the Philippines because you show life how it is for what I call ordinary people. Oh, well, don't worry, Keith. There'll be more to come in the future. I'll definitely make more. But I think there are quite a few bloggers out there. The trouble is, there's a lot of people doing blogs out there. So it's finding them. That's the problem. It's what comes up in your feed, even if you're searching for them and that. I've watched a few people out there, pretty damn good. And they kind of like just show it as it is. So, but yeah, there's so many people trying to make it now, trying to get ahead on the ladder out there. Well, I suppose in lots of different countries they're just blogging. Lots of people are doing it because a lot of people are making money off it. Vin, hello, how are you doing? Pay the courier. Is that another name for a takeaway? It may as well be. But yeah, you do. You literally have to pay the guy who comes up on the moped and delivers your whatever you've bought off the Shopee or Lazada. You pay that guy the actual money, and he'll give you the receipt. It's weird. It's strange. It's just not how it works over here. But it's like when you go into a shop over there and you buy something electrical. Even if you buy a light bulb, they'll take the light bulb out of the box and they'll plug that light bulb in to make sure it works before they give it to you. If you buy like I bought a stand-up fan, they took the fan out of the box and they put it all together and made sure it worked. And I'm standing there thinking, bloody hell, can't we just get out of here? Can't they just give it to us? Because over here, we'll just take it. They'll just give it to us. If it doesn't work, we'll take it back to the receipt and they'll change it. But it doesn't work like that over there. Where's your cat? I don't have a cat. That was someone else's cat who lived here while I was away. So anything that comes through that hole, dinner. Frank, does it often happen that the chain breaks on a Mark III 2006 petrol? I've never had a broken chain. I've had a few noisy chains that are rattling quite bad, but I've never had one break. So I wouldn't say it's a common thing. Normally, them chains are very, very good chains. When you look at them, they're proper Duralink chains. They're strong, good chains. They're the kind of chains. They're not the kind of chains you get on a Vauxhall Corsa. They are proper strong chains. They last bloody well. So no, they're definitely not common for breaking. Don, hi Alan, if you go back to Philippines, will you do your own car repairs and buy tools and a lift for your own? No, I won't buy a lift, but I was getting a few bits and pieces, a few tools. I mean, I've got a little bit of a toolkit over there already. So yeah, as like everything, as you should go through, you know, bit by bit, you'll buy screwdrivers and a few spanners and a few sockets, and yeah, I mean, I'd rather do my own stuff. But I did point out that over there, it's in a lot of cases it's cheaper to actually get someone to do it for you. So labour charges in many garages in the Philippines are so dirt cheap. They could fix it for cheaper than it would cost you to buy the tools to do it yourself. But I get the thing. I would prefer to do certain things myself, especially if I could make a video on it. Yes, thank you. Very good. Have a good one. Vivian, hello. How are you doing, mate? Greetings from Southern. Oh, you're in Spain again. Flipping heck, Vivian, you are certainly got the travel bug. Because every time I speak to you now, you're in a different country. Are you taking advantage of the cheap airfares again? I think I'm going to have to come and join you. Go and see what Spain's like. Southern Spain. Oh, my God. You're escaping the cold winter English weather for the weekend or the week. Vivian, we'll have to go out for dinner some point. We'll have to grab Kevin as well, drag him out of his house, and we'll all go for a meal. No good working for peso. No. Mark, hello. Well, I think overalls are worn to stop you scratching cars with buttons and zips. They were. Yes, they don't have external buttons, do they? I've not worn overalls myself in a lifetime, basically. I used to wear overalls when I first started. They were blue. Oh, God. Joe, Will you be making more Mondeo videos? I probably not. There ain't no Mondeos left. The taxis have gone. They're all sold off. There's no more taxi company at Steve's. Steve, Channel 4 started in 82. Steve, you're a wealth of knowledge, you know that. You're like an encyclopedia. There is a petition for I know, I've seen it. I was free. The last count I saw was 2 million. Now it's 3 million. Yeah, I think he has gone down as the worst prime minister ever in British history. But you know, he wants to get all the hard stuff done at the beginning. Well, that doesn't kind of rub up with the public to get all the hard stuff. He wanted to get all these lies out straight away. No, as soon as he got a bit of power, all his lies, shone through. Oh my God. They keep blaming the Tories for everything, which is justifiable. But you'd think they would try and make it better, but it just shows they've got no intention of making anything better. It seems strange though, isn't it? How what the public want, the politicians never want to do. It's like the politicians are always 180 degrees opposed to what everybody else wants. Anyway, Dan, Keir Jong-un, yeah. He's got a lot of names, hasn't he? Michael, having had a break in the Philippines, does going back to work seem strange? Does it feel you're back in? It just felt like a weekend away. That's what it felt like. It felt like nothing. It almost felt like 10 months in the Philippines felt like it was like a dream. That's what it felt like it never happened. It's bizarre, surreal. Boney T, had many rats chewing ABS sensors. Any repellent you know of? We haven't had any rats chewing any sensors yet. Mind you, I had rats in Steve's MOT garage. There's in the rolling road. This was before I went away. They had the rolling road on the MOT bay. There's a pipe, because if it was to flood with water, the water would theoretically go down this pipe under the ground and out. The rats come up the pipe under the rolling road and ate all the wiring. So the guy had to come out and replace all the bloody wiring. Mark, just puffo, mate. Neil, hi Alan, hi to you, Neil. I think I'm going to call this because, oh my God, time has gone on. I don't want to go on for too long. So I'm going to have to call it a night. I'm going to have to cut. But anyway, thank you for everybody who's joined the live stream. It's been a pleasure for a Saturday night. It's given me something to talk about, something to do. So if I didn't get to your message, then I'm sorry. Hopefully get to it next time. But as always, have a good evening. Have a glass. It is Saturday night. Have a glass of beer or whatever you do. Have a good one. Take care out there, everybody. And have a good week ahead. And I'll see you all in the next live stream. So adios for now. Signing out.